recreating what we had before I had to kill Godot. Well, we're not quite there yet, but we have particles in a funnel, and we would like to unleash them explosively as part of kind of a one-shot particle system for an effect. So let's keep on tuning this. The idea being that when the turret fires, we actually have some indication that that's happened. Besides a sound effect, we have a sound effect for it, but we would like particles coming out of the barrel to represent the fact that the turret is fired. That's what I'm trying to do here. All right, let me get a little bit more comfortable. Okay, so again, refraining from actually looking at the docs again, we're just messing with things. One of the things is, okay, this is looking better in terms of like the billboard effect for so previously in the previous attempt before we crashed, I was using a plain mesh. We switched to a quad mesh. I'm gonna dial down the size by maybe half. Even that may be too much. I think we can do some things, but we'll see. Let's start by making it red. That's a start, right? We could do some. I think, don't I have a texture maybe that we can use? Not the little fire texture, but like a particle effect. Maybe not. Maybe we'll make one. Let's see. Textures, fire. That's all of those. I think maybe it was for a different practice game. We made a. It was just like a dot that was smooth. What does subdivide here do? What does this do? If we no, not one. What does this do if we subdivide? Nothing? Okay, great. I'm not gonna worry about it then. So lifetime is too short. We want it to go out. Okay. So we need. Hold on, I gotta skip this track. I don't need someone talking in my ear. Also, Brainless, I just noticed, because we have no alert for it, so sorry about that. I just noticed 25 stream streak. What a streak. It got mixed in with the other chat messages, and I didn't notice it. Sorry about that, but thanks for hanging around here. Okay, so what am I doing? No, it's in process material. That's what I'm looking for, right? Velocity. Velocity direction. Is it this? No. Initial velocity. Okay. It's a lot of velocity. What if we dial this down? What does linear acceleration do? Ooh. What if this is 0? Wait, I thought I turned off gravity. I did. So why? Okay, so I see. Okay, that does nothing. Why is it going down? Why? Why is it going down? Okay, that's too small of a number apparently. Nope, nope, nope. 0.01. Okay, okay. I don't know why this does what it does, but we got something happening. It's good, right? And there's some amounts of acceleration. Okay, maybe that's good. And then we want the lifetime. What if we dial up the lifetime? Then we get that, which is pretty cool. Not what we're looking for, though. What about more explosiveness? All the explosiveness. Okay, but shorter lifetime. Okay, too short. Kind of good. What does this look like from this angle? More particles. Let me save. I think our spread is too wide. Is there a way to control... Oh, I know. Right, so emission ring radius. Let's dial that up. And then inner radius way down. Other way. So inner radius, and then dial this radius way down. No. Ooh. Have a thought. Also, I understand. So the inner radius is, if we don't want, if instead of having a ring or a cylinder, we wanted, or if yeah. So this is no longer a ring. It's a cylinder because we don't have an inner radius. The inner radius is 0, right? And that's fine. But what I was thinking was that if we rotate this around 90 degrees and have the particles go the other way, and then we shrink the radius down. Ooh, to 0? Shrink it to 0? Maybe like 0.01. That's pretty cool. Let's make the lifetime slightly longer. Ooh. That's cool now. What does that look like from a distance? You can't even see it, right? Is the thing. And that's going to be the thing, right? Is that the scale of this is like, this is your perspective on the world, right? So you need to be able to see the effect from this distance, and that's pretty subtle. It's too subtle. So honestly, we could go with like fewer particles that are bigger. So let's look at the drawing pass stuff. What if this was 0.1? Okay, that's a bit easier to see. And from a distance, it doesn't look weird. Up close, it's I mean, we'll add a texture. But okay, that could be good. Maybe the lifetime does need to be longer. Also, the acceleration needs to be higher. So if we just dial up the acceleration, then things go further. Ooh, I like that. Now, I don't know how I managed to, hold on, if we do 0 to 4.6, it gets a spread, right? The amount of acceleration of the things causes it to disperse. Some things get ahead of others. That's pretty cool. Let's do like maybe 1 to 3. Maybe like 3 to 6. Maybe initial velocity needs to be dialed up to start at 1. And then dial down minimum velocity to like 0.1 up to 5. Okay, and then we can dial down lifetime. Because they're getting further, so they don't need to live as long to get that distance. Reminder, the idea is this is going to be a one-shot, right? So we'll just turn this on when we fire. So it needs to be shorter. It should be like maybe half a second for the effect. So whatever it's going to do, it needs to happen in half a second. That's probably a good way of thinking about like framing what we're doing with this effect, is like whatever needs to happen on that time scale. So then we just need to adjust our velocity to make it reasonable. Which means our acceleration. Okay, then maybe initial velocity. Ooh, just start at 0.1 up to there. Okay. It's pretty good. Let's add some randomness to the lifetime. I think that's what that does, right? Randomness? Emission randomness ratio. Pre-process. What does this do? Amount of time to pre-process the particles before animation starts. Lets you start the animation sometime after particles have started emitting. Okay, let's not. Interp to end. Causes all the particles in this node to interpolate towards the end of their lifetime. Maybe. Can I just dial this in a little bit? What if we dial down the explosiveness a little bit? Then it kind of more spews. Like if we turn this off, it's just like a spew. The explosiveness is what gets us that that rush. We could dial that down maybe a little bit. And if we turn this back to one shot, that's what the turret firing looks like. It's pretty good. We could do things like turn on emission. As well. Right, so then we emit. Okay, and then I need a tool to make an image. So I have so many of those. I will open up a sprite. All right. See, I thought I did this before. Where did I do it? Maybe was it in one of our previous practice games? Do I even have those checked out here? Maybe not. These all the other practice games we did on Windows. Okay, well, let's just like make a new. It just needs to be like a 128 pixels should be enough. And we'll do, give me a red. And then we want to do a brush that is, well, this is 128 pixels. We want to do like something like that. Actually, honestly, like, can we resize the size? Let's do like 64 by 64. Okay. And then kind of would do something like this, but is this? Boop, 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 boop. There's a way of doing what I'm trying to do. So like, so not that. Maybe it's easier to do on a different tool. Or at least I know exactly what I would do on a different tool. Dynamics. Pressure. I just want a shaded. So first of all, I want to be in the right tool. There we go. No. Interesting. I see. Okay. No, I don't. I feel like I knew a way of doing the thing. Like this is something we did for a past game, but I've forgotten what it was I did. Specifically to make like a. No, I probably did this in like Krita or something. Let's do that. Boop, 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 boop. So let's just make a new little image. We just need a we'll do 128 by 128. Create, and I just should be simple, right? Because we're just gonna have a nice red, and we want a brush whose size will be 128. Maybe a little bit smaller than that because it's going to be hard to be precise. So we do that, and that's fine, but it's not what I want. Okay, clicking that, somehow we got to 600. That's weird. Yeah, this is what I was trying to do. Except we wanted alpha. So it's unhelpful that the background is not transparent. Boop, 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 boop. Remove layer. There we go. Great. Now, something like that. And then we'll save that as we just want to, oh, right, of course. File, export. Can't save it as a PNG. Also not in materials and textures, please. This is going to be fire particle .png. There we go. We did it. Okay, so then we go to albedo and we go to texture and we quick load, and we should have our new fire particle texture. Particle, nope. Oh, right. So new image texture. Open that. No. How do we do things? Why are things not? Let's see. Okay, so that's weird. Textures. I don't see it there. Did you not succeed in exporting a PNG? You made a KR. Okay. Why? Why would it make a KRA file when I automatically select file name extension? What? Save. PNG image. Okay. Did it not? I guess maybe this didn't come up the last time, so I should have known better. Unhelpful. Like, if I wanted to export a file, why would I export it as a CRETA file? Wouldn't I just say anyway? I'm very, I just want to say, I'm very happy that so many people went out of their way to volunteer their time to make an open source application that I can use to do all of this. CRETA and Godot and all those things, right? So I don't want to take away from that, but some things it's unclear why things were implemented the way they are. Anyway, let's run the particles. What does this look like? Woo! Okay. In fact, let me just turn off one shot and we can enjoy that. There you go. Okay. So I feel like maybe transparency didn't work there the way that it should have, amongst other things. Well, alpha. There we go. Maybe if I turned on transparency. That's something. Oh, that's fun. Multiply? No. Mix. I don't know. There's something. I mean, so again, we're gonna see this at like this distance, right? Um. So let's not focus too much on the texture of the particles. You're not really gonna see that in any detail. The lifetime maybe should be a little shorter. A little shorter. Hold shift to have a little bit more control of that. Okay, that seems fine. Turn on one shot. Bam, bam, bam. A little bit longer. So that seems fine. Okay, so when the turret fires, we want the particles to be triggered. How do we can code some things. How do we do that? So we have an attack component. How does the attack component work? We actually have a whole scene that holds the details for this. So when we perform an attack, like, we could make it so that you pass in, like, oh, here's the particle system to trigger when the attack happens. I think we want to not continue down that road. So like, we could. Maybe the attack component should just have a signal, right? So when we're constructing a node that supports attacking things, it can hook onto the signal. So we do have a signal. Emitted immediately after a successful attack when cooldown begins. So technically, yeah, I mean, cooldown started is essentially we did an attack. Maybe this could be better named, but yeah, okay. So yes, past me thought of this. Past me thought of this. So what we can do is we can hook onto that signal on the attack component. Now, the particle, GPU particle is 3D. Do we have, let's go to attack. Let's go to node. Cooldown started. Now, could we directly invoke a method on GPU particles? Not really. It's fine. It's fine. We'll just we'll put a method on our base here, on attack. We'll just call it on attack. Connect. There we go. And then basic turret, we will have on attack. And what this will do is that we will add an on ready. This will be attack particle system. It's not in that location though, is it? It's nested a bit down. It's like turret yaw, top barrel. So I could do this way, or I can make this an export. So that what we can do is on the inspector, when we look at basic turret, we parts. Oh, right. We didn't finish our thought here. Just hold that thought. So we can see still parts error. Come on now. Oh, right. So that's not a type. What is the actual GPU particles 3D? GPU particles 3D. There we go. So somewhere in the list of things. There we go. Attack particle system, right? So then we can go find GPU particles. And maybe that's better than hard coding the path in the GD script file. This is what I'm doing anyway. So then we have attack particle system, or maybe, sure, attack particle system. So we can say attack particle system is emitting a property that we can set. Emitting can be used to start and stop particles from emitting. However, if one shot is true, setting it to true will not restart the emission cycle unless all active particles have finished. Use the finish signal to be notified once all active particles finish processing. If your one-shot emitter needs to immediately restart emitting particles once finished signal is received, consider calling restart instead of setting emitting. Restart. Doesn't restarts the particle emission cycle, clearing existing particles. To avoid particles vanishing from the viewport, wait for the finished signal before calling. Finished signal is only emitted by one-shot emitters. If keep seed is true, the current random seed will be preserved, useful for seeking a playback. So the question is, when we fire, do we... I think we just have to, like, oh, we fired and there's still particles. We just, like, get rid of the particles and replay. Maybe that will work. Let's see what happens when we run this. It's been so long. Let's go to the test scenario. And let me get some free scrap. And we'll put down a turret. And the turret seems to be floating in air, which we should probably fix. Is that... Oh, it's not in range. Let's put the turrets a little closer. There we go. Look, it's firing. Okay. I think it needs... So one, the turret is floating in the air. Should fix that. Two, it needs to be more explosive. It needs to be more urgent. That still feels very... like it's spraying something. Like out of a squirt bottle. Less of a shooting sort of situation. The color and other things we can tweak, but whatever. Alright. So, why is my turret floating in the air? I don't know. Because the bounding box of... Oh, I see. No, is that what we're seeing? Turret base, turret. Range preview. That's weird. Let's move that up as well. Maybe that'll fix our issues. Let's see. Let's test that. Is that what's causing the turret to be floating? No. transform. Okay, you're not moved. It was actually moved down. I don't know. Let's try that. Interesting. Interesting. Okay. So the range preview transform. Undo that. Let's look at something else that's placeable and see if there is how things are laid out there. Because we're not having this problem with other things. So, interesting. Negative 1.042 is interesting. Are you transformed? No. But you are. Interesting. Okay. Oh, wait. I was confused. That's X. No Y position change here. Yeah, okay. What about here? It's actually moved up. So wait, I'm confused. I mean, that's... So wait, oh, I see. Because the way the model was constructed was below the plane. I see. Okay. I have some regrets, but that's fine. We are going to take the turret and we are going to lower the turret some amount and try again. Better or worse, or no difference? I don't know. What if I just lower it there? Is that gonna improve the situation? Is this gonna have an effect, or let's restart. I don't know. It's difficult to tell. I guess I'm uncertain as to whether or not, if I just lower this further and further, is it going to actually, does it position the thing on top of the ground? Or, the preview we can't see at all. Yeah, okay, that totally breaks it. Good. So if we adjust this, we will actually see a difference, right? That's why it's good. Not that it's broken, but that we can actually see whether or not we're successful in tuning things, right? So oh, that's in the ground. That's no good. Tweak that up a little bit more. Now, what I probably need to do is fix the models so that they are all the bottom of them as it is at a known point, so that there's no transform in the scenes for the obstacles, so that everything lines up correctly. But that's something I will do in the future, I guess. Okay, we can maybe tweak that down a little bit more. Here's a question. If we go to 3D and we tweak this down, let's just go down here really quick and we go back to the game. Yeah, and it's gone. Okay, cool. So we can live see. Actually, it would be cool. Can we do two? Could we view? It would be cool if we could see the game and the 3D view at the same time. I guess maybe that's not a thing we can do. Oh well. Back to the game. Okay, lower. Too low. Higher. Higher. Little higher. Slightly higher. Okay. So the issue is, like, with the lighting and how everything's arranged, it's difficult with a fixed perspective. It's difficult for me to tell, like, if it's actually on the ground or if it's above with how the shadows are, but this is fine. So yeah, we need more explosive particles. Also, I need to hit escape there so we don't keep on scrolling indefinitely. GPU particles 3D. Let us... So we're pretty explosive. Maybe we just need... maybe we just need... them to be faster, which is not any of this. It's in process material, right? Maybe if we dial up initial velocity, or maybe linear. If we do this, the problem is that the particles are just definitely not fast enough, right? So, if we dial this up, that's better. I think one of the things that we were playing around with earlier was interp to end. That's better in terms of explosiveness, but then I think our lifetime has to be longer. Yeah. Honestly, I think we could do with fewer particles. Maybe kind of a similar effect here. I don't know that it needs to be so bright red. Let's go back to draw passes. The other thing we could do is we could have multiple draw passes, I think, is a thing that we could do that would allow us to have some different effects. So I don't know that we need a vertex color because we have the texture. Yeah, that does that. We have emission. We can emit. It helps if I don't hit escape. There you go. The problem is, enter is on this side of the keyboard. Escape is very easy because it's right where my thumb is when it's just kind of resting. Okay, so what does that look like? It's brighter. In some ways, that's better. Can we dial down the size of the particles again to like 0.5, 0.05? It's just half their size. I think the zombies have moved away from the range. Here, let's put a range amplifier. Here we go. A couple of range amplifiers. Okay, maybe lifetime has to be longer again. Interesting. Maybe. It's something where we have to balance between just stack a bunch of these so the turret will stay in range as the zombies move away. Like when we zoom in and when we zoom out, we still want to be able to see the particles when we're zoomed out. At least a little bit. I guess that's fine. I think it'll be more impressive if we have like a bunch of turrets, right? Not sure about the health. Maybe we'll have it so that the health bars hide if nothing is changing with them and you're not hovering over. Could be good. Okay, well, this is better than nothing. Yeah, it's just a lot of noise to have all the health bars, as you can see with this. All right. Great. No, I don't want to save that. Okay, so lots of iteration here, but we've added turret fire particle. Yep, there you go. All right. Oh. Well, what next? Add firing effect animation to turret. Not exactly an animation. We could. I was thinking of like having like the turret itself jostle. I think that's too much going on. So we'll leave it there. We still have a lot of modeling to do for the other towers. And we'll get there. We'll get there. Add toggle for pausing game music when game is paused. So maybe we can tackle this one because this would be it's just a kind of a maybe a pet peeve of sorts. We had unsaved changes. What do we have unsaved? Oh, lifetime. Okay, let's commit that. That was our last tweak. So when we launch the game, so right now, let me turn on the music a little bit. So we can do that. When we start the game, right? If we just start, well, this is a bad example because we're just gonna die quickly. Let's do a test scenario. You can hear the game sound. If I hit escape to go to the pause menu, or I pause, any kind of game pausing pauses the music. Yes, yes. So, but I would like to be able to not always pause the music. So how does music playing work? Hold on, let me escape here so we're not scrolling. So we have a BG Music audio stream player. We can just set the process mode to always. There we go. Now we have game music, even when we're paused. Problem solved, right? Except we may not want that. We may want to turn that on and off. Actually, in just like finding this and remembering this is a thing and finding where it is, I think I understand what we need to do for the setting. So we need to add a setting that when we load the game, we're just going to change the process mode for this node. Right? That's it, right? I think so. So how does this work? So we have the main and we have UI. We have a auto load settings manager. How's that gonna work? I guess when the main scene. Also, let me stop the game. When we load, are we already reading from, like, what is the interaction between the main script here and our settings manager? Right, so we load settings, we apply settings. What does apply settings do? It applies various settings and emits a settings changed signal. Does this node so wait, what would, okay, so let's look for settings changed. Okay, nothing listens for that. Nothing listens for that signal, but something could. Okay. Interesting. Do we just emit it? You have to know to go to the settings manager and get the setting. Apply audio settings. So this will like reach the audio server to display server. That's most of what the settings are for. What about keyboard settings? So we load things. I guess the key bindings are managed separately. This doesn't actually manage that. Yeah. Just kind of trying to think about how we would control, like presumably we're going to extend apply audio settings, all the audio setting stuff, to have a toggle to pause the music or not pause the music when the game is paused. So how does that setting get applied to a node that exists in the main scene? Is a question. And maybe it's as simple as in ready, we call settings manager dot, we hook onto the signal from settings manager that settings have changed. But that's not going to be sufficient. We don't have like a script attached to that audio node, do we? No. Could have a dedicated script for this, but we don't currently. Yeah, I guess for now, what we can do. So we need to do a couple of things, and there should be a UI for settings menu scene. There we go. We want to add on the audio tab a toggle for something like this for whether or not the music is paused. So let's paste into here, And this will be music pause container. So that's what we'll call this setting. And then we'll call this music pause label. That didn't take. Try that again. And music pause check. Great. And then the text here will be pause music when game is paused. Yeah, simple enough. And so there's some kind of script that interacts with this UI, so we'll have to figure out what's going on there. Yep, so audio tab controls, we add a new thing. We say on ready var music pause label. Very nice autocomplete here. Box container something. If only it actually music pause container. Music pause container. The problem is it's so long I can't see what's on the right hand side, right? Music pause label seems to be correct. All right, we got to take a break here because Switch wants to run ads. So I'll be back in 3 minutes and we'll